My name's Pamela Blackman, and I was born here in Nambour. I am one of 13 Egmalee's family. My father was born in a cane paddock out here at Coast Creek. Dad's mother, she would come over on the boat Williamson, 8th of March 1894. She was collecting salt from the sea. She was married at the time. Her husband ran away and she just stood there like transfixed. This is her story. And they come and grabbed her and took her on the boat. And there was another lady too they picked up. So it wasn't very good for them on that boat because there was only the two women picked up with all the other islanders. Yes, so she was a very strong woman. The older generation here, most of them are gone now. They talked about her and how she was a lovely, strong woman. And Grandad come down here, and a lot of other Kanaka people come down here and they leased land. Because when they stopped the Kanakas from cutting cane, that was more or less all they knew. So the Image Flat, he grew cane. Up on the hill there next to the Mormon church was where he had his banana plantation. You know, they were called aliens, and they had to sit for this test so that they could be exempt from going back. And so even though Dad was born here, Dad had to sit for it too. They had to be able to write it down and understand what it meant. And that's how we come to be here. Otherwise, we probably would have been living over in the islands or wherever they would have dropped them off. You can see that Grandfather really wanted the family to settle here. He wanted everybody to learn English and not know anything about the island life. He wanted them to integrate very quickly because he saw the potential here of raising his family, and he could see the difference, how good it was, the country and everything. The children had to speak the English language too, and they had to go to school, and it was at a time when they didn't want black people to learn because they said black people have got no brains. It was good growing up here. I just didn't like school, but there was only me and I think Tiny going to high school at the time. That was dark, so you know, you tend to stand out. I think it was the way the teachers, some of the teachers used to look at you like as if, you know, well, you shouldn't know these things anyway. And if you did know them, it was like, you know, it was not like growing up in like Ingham and Halifax and Bundaberg and Mackay, where there was big communities. I didn't know what it was like growing up in a black community. And when I went to Santo, get off the plane, it's like, wow, you know, you're like, you see all these island people, you're sort of one of the majority. You feel, you know, as soon as I got there, it's like you belong. This is where you belong. It was, when I first spoke to some children there, they just laughed at me because I spoke to them in English and they were French-speaking kids. So I tried my school French on them and they just sort of went, ah, she does speak our language. You know? When I was working at Roma Street there at the police headquarters, the chaplain there, the first time he started there, they put him beside me. I used to do crime reports, and a couple of months later he come and he's over and he said, oh, I don't know how to tell you this, but my grandfather was a blackbirder. And I just got excited. I said, oh, great, your history, you're part of my history, you know. You know, to me it's history, and it's good to meet somebody that, well, you know, that is willing to say that his grandfather was a blackbirder. Yes, that's my 5 children. They knew that I wasn't, well, not until later in the school life that I was an islander, because I brought them up as Murrays. gurus. And because they had something, they had culture, whereas I had nothing to pass on. But, and even these grandkids, sometimes they'd have a go at me. Oh, you're not a Maori, Nan, you're South the Islander. As if it was. But they were, with these kids, with my family, I used to tell them, you know, what my dad told me. My dad used to say to me, now, you're like everybody else. You're just a different colour, that's all. He says, you know, you're just as smart as they are. He used to tell me, you know, just be proud of who you are.